Charlie, here's a little ditty I learned from the local historians. Henry Brockhurst, owner of the Brockhurst Ranch, was in fact a local.
Oh, I see what you did there, Christy. But actually, in fact, the ranches around here were actually not run by folks from around here.
I get that. Clever, Charlie.
Oh.
Nice play on words. They heard the call of the Wild West, that is, and found their way to this majestic place.
Well, you know, old Henry, he didn't hear that call of the wild. He lived it.
And being a cowboy was in his DNA. And even though his wife Lulu wasn't a local, she was one of the gals that fit right in. Henry was born in 1878, and as a young boy, he worked his family's ranch near Green Mountain Falls.
His grandmother, an immigrant from Scotland, homesteaded the land in 1887, which later became the Brockhurst Ranch in 1890.
The Brockhurst Ranch was located between Green Mountain Falls and Woodland Park. It's down Ute Pass, just south, maybe 5 miles south of Woodland Park.
While at the ranch, Henry honed his skills, whether it was successfully growing vegetables at high altitudes or learning the trade of a cattle rancher. Henry tackled every challenge head on.
As a teen, Henry worked at the livery stable, which served as a change station for the stagecoaches going to Cripple Creek and Pikes Peak.
It was there that Henry became an entrepreneur, starting a side business of leading horseback rides through the Pikes Peak region.
Eventually, Henry inherited the ranch and continued those guided tours, which grew into the Brockhurst Riding Academy in 1928.
They opened the Dude Ranch in 1936. In Henry's own words, he and Lulu dropped farming in favor of dudes.
What a brilliant move, since the stock market crash of 1929 plunged the country into the Great Depression.
Henry saw this as an opportunity to repurpose his cattle ranch into a dude ranch.
They figured out this was a great way to make money, is what if we can give these people that are craving that Western experience that they could actually come and have it. And so dude ranches were born.
And so they jumped on that bandwagon and decided to build cabins and add on to their ranch. And they had a lot of help from the local people in Green Mountain Falls.
They figured out, hey, we need to get a piece of this. And so they actually started promoting it. They even had their own little Wild West show here. And then you had dude ranches springing up all over the place.
Their story began on a trail of romance. Henry's wife Lulu's real name was Laura Kennedy, born 1886 in Collins, Iowa.
And her family raised, trained, and rode horses. She was an educated woman who herself was an accomplished rider.
Lulu graduated from Northwestern University in Chicago with a degree in music, and she was a gifted pianist.
While Lulu was in college, she would vacation in Green Mountain Falls. At the time, that town was being developed as a vacation destination.
It was quite popular with tourists who came to escape the warmer, humid climates like Iowa in the summer.
And people really enjoyed the cooler mountain air and healthy lifestyle that the area had to offer.
After graduating from college with a degree in teaching, Lulu continued to visit Green Mountain Falls. In 1917, while enjoying a meal at the Brockhurst Ranch, Lulu met the cowboy Henry, and the two fell in love.
The couple managed to hold a long-distance relationship over the next 2 years when Lulu decided to pop the question and ask Henry to marry her.
What? In 1919, Henry and Lulu were wed.
But everybody loved him. They were big-hearted people, and it was a very popular place to go. Horses for everybody, and they loved it.
the biscuits were famous. But I always thought Lulu made it, but it turned out Henry actually made the biscuits. This is what I've heard.
The word was Henry was a great biscuit maker.
No one really knows exactly why Henry was so famous for his biscuits, but one thing is for sure, Henry was a man who cared for his community, and food was always on the table.
No wonder food was his passion. Henry's dedication paid off by winning awards for his field peas, squash, and potatoes.
But what are potatoes without steak? And as a cattle rancher, Henry knew a thing or two about it.
His guided trail rides to Bald Mountain ended in a steak cookout overlooking the beautiful vistas below.
But if you really didn't make the ride, he had steak fries every Wednesday night at the ranch.
Henry and Lulu were well known for the food they served.
And they would host holiday dinners for the entire neighborhood, quite often with Henry carving the turkey. Henry and Lulu never had children of their own, so they poured their hearts and souls into their ranch.
Lulu adored children and was patient enough to teach them how to ride horses and lead them on rides of the Pikes Peak region.
Their fondness for children was notable. Henry and Lulu were honored as Grand Marshals in the annual Bronc Day Parade, which still goes on today.
Lulu was quite the communicator. She was very poised while talking to women, following the etiquette of the day.
And she could also talk the lingo of the rough and tough cowboys as well. Often she would swear, but because she was so soft-spoken, it was hardly noticed.
And Lulu was quite the entertainer as well. On Saturday nights, Lulu and her sister Lena would play at the Red Barn, a beer and dance hall located at the ranch.
Lulu would play the piano and Lena the violin. Together, they would perform to the crowd, which consisted of locals, guests, and the soldiers from Camp Carson.
Charlie, we're taking a break. Now, there's a reason those soldiers loved to hang out at the Brockhurst Ranch. It was a special beer.
Special beer? Tell me more, Christy.
Hold your horses, Charlie. I'll fill you in more later.
Well, let's drink to that.
Cheers.
When the rides were done and the evening was setting in, back at the ranch at the Red Barn, the entertainment began. The Red Barn was actually the old livery stable that Henry had worked in as a teen.
Henry sold the property to the city of Green Mountain Falls. Their intentions were to build a park with a swimming pool and tennis courts.
So Henry relocated the building and moved it to the ranch where it became the infamous Red Barn. He built a stage with a PA system and lights for live entertainment, and if you like to take a chance, you could try out one of his coin-operated gambling machines.
Some would say the best part of being there was he sold 3.2% beer. Beer with a lower alcohol content could legally be sold to 18-year-olds. This worked well with the local soldiers stationed in nearby Camp Carson.
Okay, so that's what made the beer special.
You got that right. The Brockhurst would entertain them with dancing girls, live music, great food, and fun skits where the soldiers would dress up and perform.
The Brockhurst had a humble yet adventurous reputation that was felt by both locals and summertime visitors.
The closest friends of Lulu and Henry, as well as the ranch hands, would often call them both Brocky. This was just one of the terms of endearment they went by.
Later on in life, when they retired, they donated the ranch to serve as a facility for troubled boys.
They were so adored that the boys who lived there called Lulu and Henry Grandma and Grandpa.
These are prime examples of when community was family, and the Brockhursts were really well loved and appreciated by all.
In 1961, at the young age of 83, Henry finally decided it was time for him and Lulu to retire.
And true to form, their desire to help children in the community continued, and Henry and Lulu got to work with the Woodland Park Lions Club.
For their grand finale, they prepared the ranch to be transformed into the Brockhurst Boys Ranch. a ranch for troubled youth.
So they made the decision to donate the ranch to a foundation, a Brockhurst Foundation, and they wanted children to benefit from staying there. The foundation provided support for troubled boys. Kids are having problems at home, might have been drugs and alcohol.
The boys' ranch could house 30. Those who had good grades rode the bus down the pass and attended Manitou High School.
Those who stayed on the ranch full-time instead of attending school were guided by staff to help their studies and socialization.
And the staff consisted of mental health counselors, tutors, and of course, Henry and Lulu, who lived there the rest of their days. From early Scottish settlers, cattle ranchers, dude ranch operators, and youth advocates, Henry and Lulu Brockhurst carved out a piece of Western history with brazen determination and grit.